From surviving a fall from a two-story building and walking away like nothing happened, to reacting fast to stimuli, to pointing the middle finger to their owners, cats have got to be the coolest and best equipped animals ever. Growing up, I never really had the chance to have my own cat. Well, not until 3 years ago, and they've always been my favorite animals, in theory, and I've always loved learning about cats. One thing about cats that fascinates me the most is their reaction time. I'm pretty sure you've seen somewhere a cat catching a rat, that being the same rat that you would be incapable of detecting if it ran right in front of you. This is one of the greatest beefs in the entire animal kingdom, featured by a favorite childhood show. A depiction of arguably the greatest rivalry in cartoon history. Well, let's be honest, if Tom really wanted to catch Jerry, he would have done it, easily. But you know, plot armor is also a thing in these cartoons. Now, if you want to understand what reaction time is, I made a video on that and I will leave the link in the description. But for the sake of the video, I will assume that you already know what that is. A cat's reaction time is somewhere between 20 to 70 milliseconds. For reference, a human's reaction time lies in the spectrum of 300 and 400 milliseconds. What that means is they can slap you with their paws and bring it back before you even realize anything happened. Even snakes aren't fast enough to strike a cat, like their speed is completely unmatched. Now this is why they usually always escape close range attacks, and there's nothing that is close enough that can escape them.
Now cats are so good at what they do, their actions are capable of misleading the human community.
Like, there is a popular belief that whenever cats fall, they always land on all fours and they just walk away like nothing happened, no injuries. Well, that is often misinterpreted and mistaken for the saying, cats have 9 lives. This saying rather had its origin in ancient Egypt, where the god of sun, known as Atum-Ra, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, was said to take the form of a cat so that he can visit the underworld, and that same god gave birth to 8 other gods, making a total of 9 of them. This was later associated to cats' impressive survival skills and historical relevance, which is quite fitting given that they make escaping death look pretty easy. However, contrary to common beliefs, not all cats that fall from heights live to tell the tale, and out of those that miraculously make it out alive, injured, and are taken to a vet, only about 90% of those survive. The adoption of cats dates back in around 3100 BC, of course by ancient Egyptians. They used cats for pest control and believed they were special magical creatures capable of bringing good luck to the people who housed them, and they gradually became symbols of divinity and protection. This could perhaps explain why they have no respect to their owners so long as they have a full belly. I mean, we're basically the rulers of the planet, but what is a king to a god? This could perhaps give you the answer. Whiskers, off the couch please. Who are you again? Do you even live here? It's Ron, your owner? Okay. So I'm gonna throw this ball, you go and catch it, and you bring it to me. No. You're gonna go get the ball and bring it to me. No, that's not how it works. You are going to get the ball and bring it to me right here, and then make me some food and bring it to me right here. Did I make myself clear? Yes, I'll go and fetch the ball, bring it to you, and then make you food right away. Good. You should be reminded of who the boss is here. Yes, sir. They don't give a damn thing you say. Cats are in all ways well equipped and perfectly built for hunting. In the game of hunting, stealth, precision, and speed are key, and if you don't have at least one of those, you're set for natural selection. Cats just so happen to have unlocked all of these traits. Combined with agility and flexibility, they're capable of going toe-to-toe with predators that are at least twice their size and still reign victorious. There is no denying cats are the best. Cats are very good hunters because they have a very unique ability to synchronize their movements with the movements of their prey. Each step is taken as their prey moves while distracted at perfect timing, no mistake. For this reason, they, along with their movements, remain undetected the majority of the times. They only decide to show themselves when they're close enough to their prey and they're ready to strike, or when by a miracle their prey happens to sniff their presence. In that case, they don't have a choice. The fact that they know exactly from what distance they can start charging at their prey alone shows how good cats are at math than I was back in elementary school. Oh, that's disappointing and embarrassing. The deadliest cat on Earth, my notch guess, is no heavier than 2 kilograms. For non-metric system users, That is equivalent to 4.4 pounds. This furry ball is not labeled the deadliest because it's stronger than, say, a leopard. Obviously not. It's rather based on the fact that it has a higher hunting success rate compared to all of its relatives, nailing its kills 60% of the times. That may seem like a small number, but for a good perspective, lions have a hunting success rate that lies between 27 and 34%, which is much higher than the leopard statistics. Now, not all small cats are fully gifted with all necessary weapons for hunting, like cheetahs. Yeah, I know, it took me a while to finally come to terms with the fact that cheetahs weren't big cats when I learned about that. Because see, cheetahs are small cats, but this cat right here that is relatively smaller in height and on average lighter is a big cat. On the quest to figuring out how this grouping system works, I learned that cats were classified as big and small based on the sound they made. By then I had learned that cats that can roar like lions, tigers, jaguars and leopards were grouped as big cats, and cats that purr like cheetahs and mountain lions were grouped as small cats. It turns out that couldn't be further from the truth, because this poor guy can't do either, yet it snuck itself into the R-rated category, R standing for roar, and bro is smaller than all big small cats. To this day, it is still not explicitly clear why snow leopards are big cats, which I guess we won't know the real answer, but one may argue that genetics is the only and true answer to this paradox. Given that these snow hairballs are genetically more closely related to big cats, they are in fact, by the way, more closely related to tigers than they are to leopards. Yeah, this cat is a real game changer. Now let us rewind to something I said earlier. Whenever cats fall, they always land on all fours and they just walk away like nothing happened. Do you know what cat was by default destined to fall from heights and take the blows like a champ and walk away like nothing happened? Well, that's your answer. Speaking of leopards, the real leopards now and not the imposters. The nickname King of the Trees in the cat kingdom. Although lions are evolving to become great tree climbers by chasing leopards up trees, and not gonna lie, they're doing pretty good at it. Leopards have pound for pound the strongest neck compared to any other member of its family.
Like literally, they drag on the regular a whole buffet up a goddamn pole.
That's impressive. Now obviously when you talk about cats, you're talking about strategy and raw power. In other words, Jaguar. If we're talking about Bruce Lee in the cat world perspective, there is no better example. If you happen to live in the Amazon, it's best you keep an eye on your surroundings, especially if you're a caiman or a capybara, because this cat will not think twice before picking a sparring match with you and still proceed to humiliate you, humble you, and embarrass you in your own territory. To make your nightmare even worse, unlike all other 39 cat species, this cat will preferably target your skull in an act of generosity. This cat has also been reported to have pound for pound the most powerful bite of any cat. However, there is a misconception that jaguars never go for the neck, which is untrue. They have been seen occasionally going for the neck. What you don't see are other cats going for the skull, making this unique to jaguars. One thing that makes jaguars good water hunters is the fact that they're excellent swimmers, capable of wrestling and dragging caimans out of the water.
There's even been a case where a jaguar literally drowned a caiman.
But jaguars aren't the only good swimmers. In fact, the greatest swimmers in the cat community are arguably fishing cats. These maggots are specialized in rescuing fish from drowning. Their diet consists of almost exclusively fish. This is a real catfish in every way, no debate. Now, jaguars may be the Chuck Norris in the cat world, but leopards are the hitmen. They're the perfect tree assassins. If the job is strike, get rid of the body, leave no evidence, they mean business. They had to learn this the hard way, having to deal with bigger competitors and kleptoparasites. This is what most of us often mistake for scavengers, which are two complete different things, although some animals like hyenas can actually be both. Now, to make this clear, kleptoparasitism is the act of stealing food from another animal. Scavenging is not stealing, it's rather eating leftovers left by other animals or eating a carcass that is decaying, which is why lions aren't scavengers but they're kleptoparasites, but hyenas are both. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure there's any place you can run to that a leopard can't if it locks you as its prey. The only thing I can say to you, you're doomed. Tigers are nearly as good swimmers as jaguars. While jaguars would go swimming for food, tigers would go swimming on their days off to catch a little break after a busy week of dragging a 2,000-pound gaur. Yeah, about that, many people believe that a tiger can drag a whole gaur, which technically it can. The only problem is giving it a ticket to the afterlife, which people still believe that tigers do that on the regular. For its size, it needs 2 tickets. tigers can only deliver one at a time. Now this is not to underestimate tigers, it's actually to not underestimate an actual tank. Although tigers are formidable cats, they rarely attack adult Gaurs, and even then taking them down is no pushover. That'll be signing up for a death sentence penalty.
There are in fact more tiger deaths by Gaurs than there are Gaur deaths by tigers.
I mean, look at the size of this thing. I'd rather get married than... With all said, tigers are no slouch. In fact, they are currently the largest and physically strongest of all extant cats. They're so strong their roar alone gets the job done.
The roar has a low frequency that is known to paralyze its prey once it goes through the bones. It is so powerful and scary, most movies and shows, cats and lions use tiger roars to dub lion roars.
You can ask that to Mufasa, he'll tell you that's not his language.
And while cougars can mimic the sound of a crying baby and a woman being kidnapped, tigers can mimic the sound of their prey.
Allegedly, because there's no actual recorded evidence of that, just speculations from locals. Now, it is important to clarify that the most powerful does not imply loudest, because who else can have that privilege if not the king himself?
As opposed to tiger roars, they can be heard from a maximum distance of 2 miles, lion roars can be heard from 5 miles away. Studies made through problem-solving riddles showed that lions were the smartest among the cats, capable of solving problems more effectively and faster than others. Their intelligence may have well been the reason they have a very well-organized social hierarchy. The only other cat that is at some point social is a cheetah. Mother cheetahs usually give birth to multiple cubs and raise them alone until they're either juveniles or adults, and that's when they cut ties with each other. Now, something to admire about cheetahs is the fact that not only are they the fastest cats, but ultimately the fastest land mammal ever.
That is deserving. And they could use that speed. Because this is not the same case as other cats having unique traits or skills as an option. Cheetahs really have the speed out of necessity. They're the most bullied and disrespected cats and possibly animals in general.
They get disrespected by crocodiles, hyenas, lions, leopards, wild dogs, vultures, baboons, and even jackals try their luck.
Wherever they set their paws, they have to sleep with their eyes open because if they have nothing worth targeting, then they will be the targets. Like, they can't catch a break. God bless them. God bless them.
Of all cats, cheetahs have a complete different build. They're built stiff and nimble for speed rather than for sheer strength, meaning that they have less muscle fiber pound for pound in comparison to other members of the family. In addition to that, they have unretractable claws, resembling those of a dog, which are designed for better traction at high speeds. They do, however, have one sharp claw on either side of their front limb, which helps them grab their prey, not rendering them completely useless.
Mountain lion was another cat that was a pain in the ass while choosing a group for it. Like, this nigga has a lot of names. I found over 17 names just for this cat. I'll give you a few of them. Cougar, mountain lion, catamount, puma, and panther. Now the problem here is panther is generally referred to a big cat. And this guy here, as I mentioned earlier, is not a big cat.
You might have first heard of the term panther from the series The Pink Panther, which is actually a cougar. While there are no pink panthers in real life, or at least we haven't seen one, cats have a peculiar genetics that can either cause color mutation or melanism and leucism. These are two different categories of things. Melanism and leucism are anomalies in which there is an excess and deficiency of melanin, respectively. Given that leucism is pretty rare, some of the only cats that have been found with leucism were servals and cougars, and melanism has been found in jaguars and leopards. Color mutation in itself is not quite an anomaly. It is a result of the combination of specific mutated genes called recessive genes, which is usually caused by inbreeding.
This is what you were taught was a panther. Black panther, so to speak. Now for you at home who's not a biology specialist, think of recessive genes as a wife. Now we all know that by nature wives are submissive and aren't usually the ones who set orders. The head of the house is the man. In simple terms, he's the one who represents the house. Take that as a dominant gene, meaning the cat's characteristics will be defined by that very gene. In a house where there's no man, the head is a woman. Same happens with recessive genes. In the absence of dominant genes, which is rare, they make up for the color of the resulting offspring.
That is the reason we have white lions, white tigers, golden tigers, and possibly even blue tigers.
Don't look at me with that ugly face. I'm not the one who made this up. Okay, truth is, it hasn't been proven yet because we have no photo of blue tigers. What I do know is that there are alleged claims of a sighting of a blue tiger in 1910 in Fujian province in China. But then again, we have no pictures to prove it, so that one remains a mystery. Inbreeding can come with more compromising consequences. If you know the story of these two brother tigers with not only deformed faces but also mental issues, you already know the power of inbreeding.
Now, if you thought that inbreeding was as far as crazy could get, well, you'd be surprised, because it's not. We took cats' genetic abilities test a step further and produced what are popularly known as hybrids, which, as you might already know, is inducing the mating of two cats of completely different species. This action has given us results such as liger, which is the offspring of a male lion and a tigress, tigon, which is the offspring of a male tiger and a lioness, and usually has a little bit of mane, leopard, the offspring of a male leopard and a lioness. And we even went as far as breeding a hybrid with a pure species, like breeding a male lion with a female liger, resulting in a liger. I swear, these names are getting more complicated to pronounce. Male ligers and tigons aren't used for breeding because they're sterile, but their female counterparts aren't, so only they can get the job done. If we're including hybrid cats on the list, ligers are actually the biggest and heaviest cats breathing. They usually grow bigger than both their parents. The largest ever recorded liger was Hercules, who tipped the scales at 922 pounds, that is 418 kilograms. And this cat is still alive and lives in the Myrtle Beach Safari in South Carolina. This, however, thankfully has its limitations. Cats that are from different genus cannot breed with each other. For example, cats from the Panthera genus can interbreed. That again includes lions, tigers, jaguars, leopards, and snow leopards. Cats like cheetahs and pumas cannot breed with the other cats because they're from different genera and they are separated by millions of years of evolution.
Now, I could go on about talking about cats all day long, but the video can't go on forever. So, give your cat a little hug if you got one, and I'll see you in the next episode.